Let's talk about Lyndon Dykes, say Blue fans. Can't stand him. His job was to get the ball, says Adam. Hold it up and press. He did absolutely sweet FA. Hardly ran, looked tired, and he couldn't be bothered. Get him gone. Welcome back to a brand new Birmingham City podcast. I know what you're thinking. The world does not need any more Birmingham City podcasts, but this is 20 minutes of weekly Birmingham chat under our umbrella. We run 24 podcasts for each of the Championship clubs, and we've got a brand new team assembled to run the rule over the Blues this season. Delighted to have Paul and Danny with us today to look back at the Ipswich game. Are we all good, fellas, Paul? Shame about the ending. Referee, well, you know about referees from League One, but Championship referees don't get any better. Were you robbed?
Oh, I think so. I think the penalties are... He's the only man in that stadium that thinks that's a penalty, and I'm probably the only man in the country that thinks it's a penalty. I think it was a dreadful decision. I think from the get-go, from the very start, he set out and... a tackle wasn't allowed to be made. Nothing. He just didn't seem to get anything right. But it's, I think refereeing as a standard recently, it's just poor. I think we've gone from having some of the best refs in the world to just being absolutely shocking.
Yeah, and of course the best refs at this level go up to the Premier League, and then you end up.
They're not even that great either, are they? So. Like I remember, like they were doing Champions League finals and World Cup finals at one point, and I wouldn't have them do Sunday League now.
We'll get into the mechanics of the game in a second, but first of all, from somebody watching at the TV, I know you were both there. Danny, I mean, I've been to St Andrews many times as an away fan. I've never heard it that loud. I thought the atmosphere, I don't know what it was like in the ground, but it came through as the TV as loud, raucous, and really intimidating. What would how was it for you there?
That's one of the things you love about St Andrews is the noise, the hostility. You love it. That's one of the things that's made me a Blues fan in the first place. I absolutely love the noise. It's crazy. Nowhere like it.
I'm going to ask you both a little bit later on when we get to it, but there's some Ipswich fans and some neutrals that are suggesting that intimidation bordered on thuggery. Of course, we had the things thrown on the pitch and the fan running on. We'll get your view on that in a second. But let's focus on the football first of all. We started with Dykes, Paul. Let's get your view on that original tweet that we talked about there. Get him gone. Was that tweet? Here's another one that says, announce Dykes loan to Derby and a new winger when you can, please. Are we too knee-jerky?
I think start of last season he wasn't getting much praise either, so he sort of come into it towards the end of last season where he was getting a little bit better, but I think the problem is we've got strikers like Stansfield and now Kyogo who come on and looked amazing. Then when you bring Dykes on, you're not getting this. They're not the same players. He's not going to run in behind. He's not going to chase. But he's a big brute that you want to hold the ball up. But he came on for more of his defensive, heading the ball away from them attacking than he did for coming on to score a goal yesterday or Friday evening. He wasn't brought on for his striking ability. He was brought on as another head to get in on the end of them because they were pressing us towards the end. We were defending. He come on to try and be a big body to get the ball out, not to get us a goal or anything like that. He was there to just try and hold it up and head some corners away.
Yeah. Danny, that Ipswich team is full of ex-Premier League players. You can argue that actually they're ex-Championship players who just didn't do very well in the Premier League, but they've got some quality there. They've got, compared to your team, millions of pounds spent, and you more than held your own against them. But does that mean that your pre-season predictions have pushed even higher based on what you saw?
But to be honest with you, that Ipswich team, and this ain't no knock, but nothing in that Ipswich team scared me on Friday. Nothing at all. We was all over them. We was quite easily the better team on the night, and it just goes to show if we're doing that against the total favourites, and what, there ain't much we can't do this season, is it really?
Yeah,
I mean, there wasn't that full strength, obviously, but there was nothing there to worry me whatsoever.
Yeah. Who impressed you the most, Danny, from your side?
Kyogo looked very, very spicy, I got to admit. He was unlucky not to get that bloody call for the foul was absolutely ridiculous. That was a foul, I'll never know. He's seen the size of the bloke compared to Graves, it's a joke. But anyway, he very impressed me a lot. Ketchy looked very bright. Asai Samuel looked very bright. So to be honest, there was a few bright sparks in that game. It was just unlucky. The referee's a bit of an idiot. He's come from League One with us, unfortunately.
All right, you're going to put it right at the Ewood Park at the weekend anyway. Let's have a look at some more. Thanks, Danny, for that one. Jay says our first 11, Paul, is top notch. Subs though are a problem. Fujimoto, Dutch, Laird, Mark Leonard, and maybe TGH because he runs his socks off. Williamson, if he comes good, but I would say we are 3 to 4 players away from being a top team in this division. Do you agree with Jay?
I think a couple more signings are needed. I think I look at the team that my theory on it is that Davies has looked at the space, the players that are still in the team from when we got relegated, and they're the places that he seems to be replacing. So he's looked at his midfield and bought in new midfielders. He's bought in a new right back. Everyone that was there last season who got relegated, he's looked to buy a replacement for them. And I think that's his problem. I think he looked at it and goes, well, they got us relegated from the Championship, so I want some pushing them and making them go for it. And I think we are probably a little bit short of, especially if he wants to play that high intensity that he did. Like the squad's going to have to be full of first teamers. They're going to have to be, when you take one out and put one in, you're going to need to go, well, actually, we didn't miss them today. We need all of them to be starters, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I feel like we need just 2-3 more just to strengthen up, just to be that top team.
Yeah. Is it a winger, Danny, that you think you need? Because, I mean, Anthony's point here says we were looking at all 3 points. You can't look at our subs coming on and think we don't need a winger. Dykes up top, Laird and Gardner Hitman coming on right wing and left wing. No, thank you. I think we will sort it, though. Do you agree with that?
That's definitely where we're most largest on the wings, right wing especially. I think. Obviously, we got Dimmy for the left. Just playing on the right, and Kesha was on the left one, so we're definitely the right winger.
Yeah. Okay. All right. As I say, this is a 20-minute Birmingham City podcast. We record all 24 teams. So thank you for tuning in to this Blues one. Your support is welcome. We know there's tons of other choices you can listen to, but this is Danny and Paul and other guests throughout the season giving you their views. So do drop us a quick subscribe. That'd be absolutely brilliant. Right, Paul. There's lots of anti-Birmingham sentiment at the moment, as I'm sure it can't have escaped you. You know, everyone's waiting for you to fall and the American project to be, not to work. Ipswich Town fans called out some of the things going on in the stadium on Friday, some bits going on after it as well. And, of course, we all saw the fan trying to assault the Ipswich player. There's things thrown on the pitch as well. Is there a danger that intimidation can go too far, and we definitely don't want this, what some people have described as thuggery in the ground?
Yeah, I think it does go too far. The throwing things on the pitch and things like that you don't want to see. But I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say that I was cheering on that fan running out down to the players as they'd hoofed the ball. We'd just scored in the 95th minute or whatever it was. One of their players had hoofed the ball into the crowd in anger, and then it kicks off. Your emotions boil over, and somebody runs out the crowd. Now, I'd sit here now and say if it was me, I'd feel ashamed of myself. But in the heat of the moment, I'm up there going, "Yeah, get him, do it." And it goes back to the Grealish time when the fan went on the pitch. I'd be a liar if I said I didn't celebrate your man punching Grealish like a goal. Like it's, and then you look back at it with a clear mind and you go, silly, it should never happen. It shouldn't be a thing, but it's football, isn't it? And sometimes your emotions spill out. And if you're going to say, oh, I've never done something silly out of anger or frustration at a football match, then I think you'd probably be telling a lie.
Danny, what's your thoughts?
Pretty much the same, but I mean, I don't know what the fans expected when, at the end of the day, when the players blasting the ball full force at our fans. You know, what's they expect the players and the fans to do? You know, you're doing stuff against us. Obviously, we're going to react on it. I mean, like, obviously, it's not right, throwing punches and doing this other business, but at the end of the day, it's retaliation, and what can I say?
There was no punch, was there? There was a little shove, and the stewards come and took him away. There was nothing more worse than what the players were already doing, is there?
Exactly.
Yeah. Fancy looking forward to that all summer, though, and then now being banned for life. Yeah, absolutely crazy. I'm sure we'll be revisiting this topic at other points as the anti-Birmingham sentiment rumbles on through the Championship. Blackburn next, then. This is an old school Premier League fixture. This, Paul, Blackburn against Birmingham. What do you make of Blackburn?
Well, I think they're just a sort of mid-table, boring side, don't they? There's nothing like I remember I've been to Ewood Park when they played Blues in the Premier League. I went to a game then, and both teams have just sort of stumbled down the league, didn't they? And just sat mid where we were sitting. We flirted with relegation for years before we went down, but we just sort of sat mid-table in the Championship for years. They're one of them sides that you look at and you go, I want 3 points today, but they could easily look at us and think the same thing. I think we're both sort of the same sort of level, and we were looking at pushing up the table and looking at each other thinking, well, we want to turn them over today. We don't want to. They're a team we should be beating. So I don't think there's any players that they've got where I go, oh, well, he's one to watch, or he's. I think they tend to lose. Somebody comes through and they tend to lose them, don't they? So
yeah, okay. Next week, of course, we'll be looking back on that game, of course, and we're looking at the kits as well. Now, the gold bit has gone a lot of controversy this year, so we'll get your views on the kits and including the away kit as well. Let us know in the comments what your views are on the kits, and we'll read some of these out next week. Before we finish, though, we want an early season prediction off you, please, if that's okay. Where will Blues finish in the league? Now, I've seen you as high as 4th in some predictions and as low as 12th in others. So, Danny, where for you will you finish?
Well, after that Ipswich game, I got to admit I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic. I did say just top 6. Did I say last time? Top 6, 7. I'll say I pushed up to about 4 now. And that's 4 or higher, hopefully.
Okay. 4th, right, Paul? Can you beat that?
I want a playoff push is what I want. Like at the start of the season, I looked at the team and I thought, well, the League One side we got was good enough to not be relegated. I think it was a mid-table Championship side, and I think with the signings we brought on, I think anything short of in and around the playoffs is probably not going to cut it. So, but if we finish just outside the playoffs and everything's gone well and we look in decent running, that I'd be fine with that to then build on for the season after and go again.
Next week we'll also have a chat about Ducks as well. I can't believe he's not chosen 22 as his number. It's just madness. But yeah, he looks a unit, doesn't he?
He's a big old boy, and he's...
Yeah, we'll have a chat about him. He might be going back EFL Fantasy League. We'll see. Join us for that. We'll talk about kits this week and also review a League Cup, which I'm guessing none of you care about, by the way. No.
Want the league. Want promotion. Fuck the cup off.
Play the kids. Right. We'll catch you next week. Thank you very much for joining us on this first ever episode of Where Blues Walk. We'll see you in 7 days' time. Thanks for watching.